Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FEMIN-ICT Role Models Collection interview series. Thank you for joining us today. FEMIN-ICT is a project that seeks to increase women's visibility and empowerment in the ICT and digital economy. In this way, economic growth and wider social projects will be progress will be promoted. My name is Magda Bakali from Stimuli for Social Change, and I will be the interviewer today. I would like to welcome Julia, who is the woman whose story we will be highlighting today and celebrating her career in ICT. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you.
And then I'm gonna move forward with Julia and ask the first question. Can you please briefly introduce yourself and talk to us about your journey in the ICT sector, maybe?
Yeah. So my name is Julia Soderberg. I live in Stockholm, and I work for a non-profit called Hello World. And what we do is we try to introduce coding and digital making to kids at an early stage in a fun and interactive way. And my story within the ICT sector is not very long. It wasn't something that I was kind of, or even thought about, I think, when I started working or studying, but I kind of stumbled upon it. So I've always had a kind of passion for helping people reach their full potential and teaching them various things. But a couple of years ago, I started in a small IT company, and I just realized that it was quite fun. And then when I found Hello World, I realized I could kind of combine the two. So doing something good for the world, but also kind of working with technology.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And did you have any difficulties in your career in the ICT when you worked in the company, or how did you bridge all? And yeah, throughout your career.
I mean, I think it probably depends on what you've studied as well. I'm a political science major, so quite far from technology. But I've always had a kind of passion for trying out new tools and using technology as a way of reaching a goal. I think in the beginning and as well now, there's always kind of this underlying bias against women in general, that we're not very good at technology. So I encountered that quite a lot still, actually. But I think you just have to realize that, you have to do your own thing and just try it out. So I don't really care so much about that anymore. It's just about trying.
Would you like to talk to us about the program you're working in, and are there any initiatives specifically targeting girls to like code, for example? What about the camp you're working at?
Yeah. So I'm working at a summer camp now, actually. So we have about 100 kids running around outside of this door. But yeah, I think I've been at Hello World for about 2 years, and we've always had kind of summer camps and an after-school program for kids. But just like within the ICT sector, there tends to be a lot more boys that not necessarily find it interesting, but they find it, or their parents find it. So one of our main goals is to try to attract more girls, and also children that don't really have parents that are within the sector, because at least from what I've seen, a lot of kids that have parents that are engineers or work within the sector tend to find it easier. So yeah, this camp specifically actually is focused on recruiting more girls. I also started back in 2021 within the same organization, a project called Hello Girl. That was a kind of an event just for girls and non-binary kids, for them to kind of try out coding in a more safe and relaxed environment. But yeah, from what I've seen, it's very important to kind of introduce coding and STEM in general to girls before they hit puberty, because after that, the interest kind of falls. Yeah, I think it's related to norms of, who can kind of work with IT, who's good at it. Yeah.
So what do you usually tell the girls who you work with? Like, why should they go into ICT? Like, how do you approach the subject?
I usually try to talk about the fact that like the sector is so broad. It's not, necessarily just sitting in a room writing code. And I think also it's important to remember that technology can be used as a tool for an end goal to solve a problem instead of just the tool being the end goal. As far as I've seen, a lot of girls find that much more interesting if they get a problem they need to solve and use the whatever coding or whatever it is as a kind of tool to reach that goal.
Very nice. So you are working at the Hello World, and you're still running the project Hello Girl. Is it? So that's a great experience. Are there any other similar initiatives in Sweden that you're familiar with, or any policies that promote gender equality in the ICT in general that you're aware of?
I mean, I think there's a lot of initiatives within the nonprofit sector, to be honest, although with, I think, various results. Right now, the Minister of Education actually introduced a STEM policy. It's not necessarily focused on just getting more girls into STEM, but getting more kids, period, into STEM. So I think there's quite a lot of exciting stuff happening. There's also a big network of kind of nonprofit organizations that work with this. And they recently, I think, created a website kind of map where you can more easily access activities that target this type of like coding projects or similar. But yeah, one example is I'm going to say it in Swedish, but datatjej, computer girl or IT girl. But I think they focus more on slightly an older audience than we do. Hello World focuses on kids between 8 and 16.
16, nice. Since you are a creator of change, from what I see, could you tell us, in your opinion, what are the key opportunities and advancements in the ICT sector that can drive positive change in society?
Yeah, that's a difficult question, to be honest. But I think, as I said, like you need to create kind of exclusive environments for girls specifically, I think, that helps with creating an environment where there's not really judgment and a more forgiving environment to kind of start out. Then I think it's also really important to have role models. Specifically, what we did in the Hello Girl project was also to bring in women that already are working within the sector, but have slightly different roles to kind of illuminate that, it's not, you don't have to become an engineer to work in the sector or have knowledge about technology. Being an influencer and taking pictures or whatever it might be is also somehow a part of it. So I think showcasing that there are several different ways to enter the sector and work within that sector is also really important.
I like that point very much. And I'm going to ask you one more question before I let you go back to the children, and thank you for your time. Are there any particular trends or emerging technologies within the ICT sector that you find exciting, or you believe that they will have a great impact in the future?
I think people are starting to realize more, especially politicians, that this is a field that is very important, especially for our future, because a lot of I hope at least ways to kind of save the environment goes through technology. So I think a lot more politicians, especially in Sweden, which is where I'm based at, understand that they need to kind of invest more money and resources into this field to get more people to join. But I think also it's not so exciting, sadly, but I think one kind of more so alarming trend that I see where I'm working is that there's a wider gap now between, young people having access and knowing how to handle technology versus the kids that don't. And I think in order to participate in society, as we also go more and more digital, everyone needs to have a kind of basic understanding of how it works. So I think that's why also seeing that there are far more initiatives of including more people that have not necessarily felt included within the sector before is really important to kind of create a more inclusive and equal future.
That's great. Thank you very much for the very interesting conversation and the very interesting initiatives to Hello World and Hello Girl. Okay, thank you, Julia. And for everyone who wants to watch this interview, we'll be posting it on our FEMIN-ICT social media accounts and our website, of course. Thank you for watching.